Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Brown Feminist. This seems to be looking like one of those weeks when I can't really find time to make a full-on edited video. But I wanted to take this opportunity on a random Wednesday, Thursday to come online and just do a little rant, because rants are most effective when you are the angriest and your blood is boiling. So today my rant is going to be focused on something that just happened regarding work today. And what essentially happened is I'm starting to realize like where the main issues are of a clinical trial coordinator, and where our hands can be tied. So just to give you guys an understanding of when you're working in a CRO, like a contract research organization, when your site gets selected as a site, and a lot of the times this will happen before you even get hired, but when that does happen, like that hospital or that clinic or whatever, that CRO gets selected to be one of these sites, which will be under this study, typically under the pharma company. When they're getting selected, there's a lot of screening and stuff that they have to do, and then there's a budget that needs to be negotiated. So that budget is then agreed upon between the pharma sponsor and the CRO. And once that's been agreed upon, and if it's not a good job has been done of it, there's not much you can do once you come on board. And a lot of the times what happens is the people who are negotiating the budget are not necessarily the frontline people who are doing the work. So unfortunately, a lot of PIs in them don't have a very good idea of like how many man hours will actually be needed to complete a task, or how much a certain task should be charged for. Not their fault, like it's just how the system's designed, right? So when they kind of like agree upon amounts, then later on, depending on how the project turns out and how the pharma sponsors are, how demanding they are, how frequently, like how meticulous they are in like their auditing and everything, like you might notice that a lot of these tasks need maybe 5 to 7 hours of completion, because maybe the assessment is just really in depth. Maybe they want the documentation to be super elaborate. And then you go back, because as a trial coordinator, you're also supposed to be invoicing these companies, right? So every month or every 3 months, you got to sit down and go like, okay, we have completed these visits, we have completed these screening, we have completed this assessments. So you can transfer our money to us because we performed all of these things. And then they're going to try to find like all of these reasons to be not paying you for things, or that's one scenario. And the other scenario is just like, you're going to get paid like what? A really crappy amount for a work, and maybe they're going to pay you for like 1 hour worth of work, whereas you know that particular task needs like 4 to 6 hours to complete at every visit, and then you can't go back because that budget has been negotiated and signed for. So of course this stuff is like new to me, because this is the first time I'm working as a clinical trial coordinator, but I just thought like in the future, like if I continue to remain in this field, which I think I will, and I would like to be in teams from the very beginning if possible. Like I would love to kind of have like that long-term role where when the site makes a partnership deal with a new pharma sponsor, like I would love to be involved and give them my opinion about how much time is actually needed to complete a certain assessment or a certain follow-up, because you are one of the people as a clinical trial coordinator or a clinical research assistant or whatever, you're one of the people who are hands-on doing the things. You're doing the documentation, you're doing the assessments, you're making the calls, you're making the visits happen in reality. So you know exactly what amount of work goes in. And I'm not trying to like exaggerate it. Like literally, to get a patient in who might have been discharged is like an hour extra of work. There have to be calls made to their current healthcare provider and the permission that they're fit to continue in the study. There might need to be calls made to the patient or to their caregivers, who might be their legal guardians depending on their condition. There has to be calls that need to be made to certain transport carriers. There has to be calls needed to be made to whoever is their current community healthcare provider to find out, has anything changed in their health status? Can you get me a second set of vitals? Can you get me new weights and stuff like that? There has to be like so much more coordination. And just to like build this, to find out like, for example, a patient transfer service who serves that neighborhood, who serves that region of the country, who serves this hospital, who's an accepted vendor by your REB, and then make sure they are like sending the invoice to the right person, and that invoice is going back. Like, and all of this is just to like book a visit. It's not even the visit itself, right? So these kind of realizations come when you've been in the field for a little bit and you've done the hands-on work, and you'll get a sense of this just by reading a protocol. You'll be able to go like, nope, this is not a 1 hour thing. Just booking this is a 1 hour thing. The entire visit is not a 1 hour thing. It's a 6 to 7 hour thing. And I can tell you exactly where it is. Yes, sometimes there are lags. Yes, sometimes you can do certain things a little bit more slowly or a little bit more fast. And I do agree, like, you have to think of it like in the most efficient way. If I have pre-planned everything, then how long does it take? But even then, I'm constantly seeing that people want to pay us for like an hour of work, where this clearly takes like 7 to 8 hours of work. My personal salary is unaffected because I'm a salaried employee, but like, it's not fun for the CRO either, right? And I feel like the more and more I'm working with various different pharma companies, it is a pattern. And so a lot of this work has to be done at the very beginning. When the site is being selected, the site also needs to negotiate hard for these things. So if you're working for a CRO, negotiate hard at the very beginning when you're doing your budget, and think of all the possible scenarios that you might have additional like expenses. So yeah, this was my rant for today. I will see you guys next week. Bye.